Hey, what's up, folks? It's Brian with the CV Insight Show. As always, we got another good one for you today. This one is about going with your gut. Your gut, or for a better term, your intuition. I was talking to someone recently. I was in Roanoke, Virginia filming, and I was talking to somebody, and we were just talking about entrepreneur stuff, and I came up with a quote right there, an original quote, and I'm pretty proud of this one, so let me know what y'all think about it too. And it goes, sometimes it's best to decide with your heart, sometimes it's best to decide with your brain. But whichever you choose, it's always best to go with your gut instead. And I'll correct myself a little bit. I said, instead of going with your gut instead, I said go with your gut instinct. Either way, they mean the same thing. I read on entrepreneur.com that Steve Jobs said that intuition is more powerful than intellect. Even Einstein said that, or he called intuition a sacred gift. So what that says to me is that going with your intuition or your gut it actually gives you a better chance at getting the success that you're looking for, because it's more going on than just using your brain. The reason why I think like that is because the things that I've faced personally. I know that if I would have went with just my brain on some things, it might not have happened, and that's just a vague way. That's a vague explanation. But when I make a gut decision, I know that it's good. It's more than just using one thing. So if I was just using my brain, I would be apt to making a certain kind of decision. If I was just using my heart, I would be apt to making that kind of decision. Usually your brain is more it's geared to work differently than your heart. Your heart goes with kind of what you want. This is a good way to think about it. Your heart goes with something that you want. Your brain lets you know that something you want might be stupid. Not just stupid, but it just might not be the smartest, or it might be wrong. So what I mean is that gut decisions involve both your mind and your intuition. And your intuition is the way I look at it. That's partly your heart. So, and you can't make a gut decision without using some part of your brain. Your brain is, at least, like I said earlier, it's at least going to not let you make the dumbest decision or the wrong decision. Here's an extreme example. The oven, when the eye is red, your brain as an adult is going to say, don't do that. That's a very, very extreme point, but you get what I'm saying. Your brain is going to kick in and not let you go too far off naturally. And as a businessman, or as an entrepreneur or future entrepreneur, there's going to be these signs and these feelings that you're getting that you cannot leave alone. These feelings usually give you suspicion of something, anxiety, doubt, curiosity, or just wonder. When you know there's something that you can live for, and it's bigger than what you're doing now. Like, for instance, for me, I was working basically in customer service. I was in mortgage banking, but all I did was push around a lot of papers. I could never, ever answer the question of what's your purpose here while working in the banking industry. I had no purpose other than making some money to pay whatever bills I had. And that was something that I got so tired of living for. I got tired of living for that. The fact that I just didn't care about, it wasn't the fact so much about I didn't care about someone else's business. I just didn't care about mortgage. banking. I didn't care about that, but I learned a lot from it. I'm not downing mortgage banking. I mean, of course, we all have to have houses, but as far as a career, I did not want to work in that. So I had to use my gut and know that if I have what it takes to go out here and be an entrepreneur, and it's hard. It really is hard. It's way more challenging, especially in the beginning. But that's why the classic quote of "follow your vision" is so important. Because had I not followed my vision, then I would still be moving up within the ranks of the banking industry where I was completely unhappy. And when you have that career unhappiness, it can tear you up, especially over time. Over time, your thoughts and actions start to somewhat define you and place you wherever you're at in this world. That's why a lot of people are sad or dealing with a lot of angst or issues from within because they didn't make the decisions that involved some fear or a lot of fear, and it was derived from using your gut instincts. And I constantly hear that when people ask older, wiser people what any of their regrets, it's often formed, or their responses are often usually around the fact that they didn't do what they knew they should be doing on the inside, or they didn't do what their gut was telling them. They just kind of followed the safe route. And I'm not saying that will be you. I'm just saying that has happened to a lot of older people. They just have regrets that they didn't follow their gut. So going with that gut is really, really, really important in life. It's not just about business, but in life decisions that you have to make. There's going to be times where it's not clear cut dry. It's not 1 + 1 is 2. Yeah, so I should do that. It's more like 1 + 1 - 1 divided by 2 carried raised to the third power, stuff like that. It's gonna be very complicated decisions. So the best thing to do is to go with your gut. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what somebody else thinks. People can think you did the wrong thing or whatever, but it's more about you. If you go with your gut instincts, you can look in the mirror and say, I did what I thought was best, and it was an educated decision, and it involved my intuition, which is like my internal GPS, so to speak. And I actually think your internal GPS should be aligned with your faith. That's a side note. But when you go with your gut and your decisions in life, you can look in the mirror and you can be okay with it, even if you don't get successful. Now, of course, I want to be wildly successful, and I'm going to work at being wildly successful. At the end of the day, when all this is said and done, if I don't make it to the quote unquote success that I see myself at, I gotta be honest with myself. There is a level of success that I've already reached, which is basically living life. I'm chasing life and doing what I know I needed to do, and I know that it's a harder journey than what most people go through. But if I lose at this and I'm not successful and I get knocked on my butt, and it gets to the point where I'm so tired and I end up working again, two things are still gonna be all good. First is the fact that I have a master's with an MBA and a experience from being an entrepreneur and business owner. That's very valuable, for one. And two, the more intangible thing is that I can say I did it. I did it for a moment in life, and I could pick it back up again, but I did it. You know what I mean? It's more fulfilling than not giving it a try. That's what hurts the most. That's what the I was referring to with the older folks when they say not doing what they want. They just didn't give something a try, at least, But yeah, giving things a shot, a full shot at, the thing, at your gut instinct, it's pertinent in life for you to find yourself. It's very pertinent, and then of course in business, it's a part of the being. You have to go with your gut. I mean, some of these businesses, they sounded crazy. I mean, think about Uber. Somebody at Uber had the idea. I don't know how long ago it was, but I don't know their story exactly. But I can rationalize the fact that somebody at Uber was like, man, we're gonna be able to let complete strangers carry around kids. Think about it. I actually hear Gary Vaynerchuk talk about this a lot. If we look back 10 years ago, would you be safe with the thought of some strange person, man or woman, a strange person coming to your house and picking up your little kid, a little 10-year-old, or no, let's say 11-year-old or something like that? No, that wouldn't make too much sense. But being that the guys at Uber knew that they could make this happen, they went with their gut instinct and went against the grain. So that's why Uber is wildly successful like that. And I do drive for Uber, and I have picked up kids. A little kid with a backpack comes get in my car, and I'm like, oh, where's the adult? I don't like this. That was a unsettling feeling the first time, and but I'm used to it now. That does happen, and it's not bad on the parents, because you can watch your kid where they're going. You can look on the app and see exactly where it is and exactly who your kid is with. So back to the point about using your gut. It allows you to live in the now. That's another very, very, very important thing. Living in the now allows you to be extremely human. You don't have to operate on strategy and what's safe and all of that stuff, man. Living in the now, you get to just experience time at the exact moment. Not to get all deep and stuff about time, but time is a very, 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 very serious and needed commodity. Your time in all ways. So by living in the now, like I said, you become more human. You learn things. You develop so much wisdom by using your intuition, your gut, and living in the now. When it comes to entrepreneurship or business, it's strategized on forward thinking, but it's dependent on the now. I have to be aware of what's going on in business and my different businesses. I have to think about the future, but if I don't implement extreme action every day right now, or especially right now since I'm in the beginning stages, I'm going to fail. So that's why I live in the now. For instance, when I first quit working and started to run my video marketing company, that's what I was focusing on, and I was kind of focusing on other marketing things as well. But those two things, video marketing and as a direct niche, and also just marketing as a whole. I was trying like internet marketing and trying to maybe take a shot at becoming a marketing firm, and just doing but doing marketing as a whole, not just a marketing tactic like video marketing. But I had to adapt to society as a new entrepreneur and live in the now. And what the now was for me was that video marketing was not gonna make the money that I needed to make. I was failing. I was like getting ready to fail really bad, and it was do or die time, sink or swim time. It was time to get it or go home. And so what I did, and thankfully to my good friend, or my brother Kareem, he was talking to me one day, and he just mentioned the fact that I have a lawnmower and I live around a lot of people. I ought to just start doing it. So I think the next day, I was making or printing flyers out within the next 2 days or something like that. And I printed out 200 flyers, and I passed out I passed out 200, and I got about 10% of those of the business from those. I got 10% of those flyers answered for, and I got business for it. So immediately, when he made that decision in the moment, and I went with it. I did not even blink once about it. I remember I was around my dad, and I was talking to Kareem, and he mentioned something about lawn care, and next thing I know, I'm talking to my dad, and he stopped by my house, and I was making the flyer while talking to him, and he was just kind of talking to me. He probably didn't think too much about it, but what happened right there was I adapted to life, and I lived in the now, and I went with my gut, and the result of that was about $1,000 or more a month. I didn't get a lot of business, but I got enough right in that moment that pushed me through this year of 2017. It helped out a lot, $1,000 a month. That pays some bills. So had I not lived in the now in that moment, who knows if I would even be doing this podcast right now. So it makes me extremely thankful for being able to live in the now, and had I not went through what I've went through previously up to that point, and taking that wisdom from all of my past failures and experiences, and my past wins as well, had I not taken those things and not been scared to live in the moment, I very well might not be doing this podcast right now. The only reason why I'm doing this podcast is because I am a successful entrepreneur. I'm going to make it. I actually am winning in business. And I don't mean I'm rich. It's not what I mean. I mean that I'm actually doing it, and I'm making a living for it. And I'm not settling for that either. I'm going to win at this even more. So I hope you got something from that today. I want you guys to really know that going with your gut is really smart. It's really smart to do that. And then from a macro view, a bird's eye view at your life, it's really fulfilling. It's fulfilling to go out and try to do the things that you want to do. Because in this day and time, we have so many capabilities, and the sky really is not even the limit. I mean, that saying kind of confuses me sometimes, or let's just say the sky is the limit, meaning that you can go anywhere you want, and do anything you want to with everything we're experiencing with all this technology, and we're actually getting smarter as people and stuff like that. So, I hope you took some value bombs from that I dropped today and apply them to your life. Feel free to reach out to me on social media. You can call me or text me, email me, doesn't matter. I would love to hear from you guys. So you've been rocking with Brian, and this is the CV Insight Show. Catch you guys soon.